Hi, it's Dr. Vet Sonya again. Um, Today in farm school, we're going to talk about planting. So, we're planting a garden. It's something super easy that you can do. I suggest you do it. You can do it in a pot, you can do it in any sort of container. You can actually buy a bag, a plastic bag of soil, cut some X's in it, fold the flaps under, and plant in there. It's a beautiful place to plant in potting soil. You just have to be careful of drainage. You have to poke some holes in the bottom so it will drain. But you can plant your own food. Okay, and I'm going to start with this book. It's another Dr. Seuss book, one of my favorites. Oh, Say Can You Seed? And we're not going to finish the whole thing, but we're going to talk about some of the things, and then we're going to stop and look at some real seeds. I'm the cat in the hat, and I think that you need to come take a look at this thing called a seed. From the giant gum tree to this very small weed, every flowering plant started out as a seed. Plants are so useful to me and to you. Can you think of the ways? I will name you a few. Here we go. The paper for books, pages, and the cloth for your pants came from trees and from cotton. That's two kinds of plants. So here's the little thing one and thing two, planting and picking cotton. So if you have clothing made out of cotton, this is what it starts out looking at. It's a grown fiber. The grains and the fruits and the veggies you eat, why, they come from plants too. And here's something neat. So he's got a whole big basket of vegetables and fruits. In deserts and woods and rainforests thick grow plants that can make you feel well when you're sick. So a lot of our medicines come from plants. Yes, plants serve us well and fill so many needs, and flowering plants all started as seeds. Just what is a seed? You are wondering maybe? Well, you might say a seed is a tiny plant baby. That's why they call greenhouses nurseries, so you can go to the plant nursery and buy baby plants. The best way for you to see just what I mean is to take a close look at a seed called a bean. And we're going to look at our own bean. Like all seeds, a bean comes in three basic parts. Thing one and thing two, please bring on the charts. Part one is the first that I think you should know. It's the part that's the baby. It's called the embryo. And that's the little pink part right here. And we're going to see that in just a minute. To sprout, it needs food, like you and I do, which brings us to seed part numero two. It's called cotyledon. Say, isn't that fun? This bean seed has two, but some others have one. So here's the embryo. Here it's pink, and the cotyledon is white. Here the cotyledon is pink, and the embryo is white. And that is what one of our 4-H ag teachers used to say is his lunchbox. So the seed carries its own lunchbox, and that's what the cotyledon is. Last comes the third part that you need to know. It's the coat, which protects our cute bean embryo. So it has a protective coating on the outside. To sprout a bean seed, keep it moist but not wet. We don't want it to mold. Keep it covered with dirt and then see what you get. And you can plant your own bean. You can plant any bean that comes from the grocery store. Red bean, white bean, black bean, lima bean, navy bean, those dried beans, those are seeds. We eat them, but those are seeds. In 7 or so days comes the part that I love. A root spreads below and a stem shoots above. So if you look right here, here's the little bean, here's the root coming down, and here's a little stem that's popping out. Now, if you see this, this is the bean when it first got planted. Now, here's a little piece that just started to sprout, and then here it is growing. So I'm going to show you some beans, and we'll come back to this once our plants start growing that we have. And these beans, is this a lima bean or a butter bean, Landry? A lima, speckled, because sometimes speckled lima beans and butter beans look the same. This is one that we soaked, we moistened, so you can put these in moist paper towels and allow them to begin to sprout. And that's what we have, a little sprout right there. So you see that? So this little tiny bean is sprouted. This one is not sprouted yet. So you see the difference? There's a sprout. So we're going to plant this and it's going to grow. roots, and a stem. And so before that, it needs food before it gets up and can make its own food with its leaves. It needs its own food. So that's why it packs that little cotyledon or that little lunchbox. So we're going to plant those. Now that's a bean seed. Now, let me show you another tiny, tiny seed. This is an okra seed. See if you can see that well. There's a little sprout. So okra seeds are little bitty, and there's its little sprout. And I don't know if you eat okra, it's a southern thing. We love okra here. So these are really hard. They actually originated from Africa. One of the beautiful things that came from Africa for us that we love in the South is okra. So we'll plant these and they'll sprout as well. And these will make big, big, big plants. This little tiny seed will make a huge plant. Now, so you can plant a seed. You can also go to your nursery and buy just a baby plant. So we have a plant from our nursery, and they come like this, and they have 3 plants in this little container, and this is a lot of times how they come. And these have been sprouted from seed, but they sprouted them at the nursery, so we don't have to worry about that. We can actually pick out the plant and plant exactly what we want. This one is a tomato seed. So these are tomato leaves. Okay, and let's see, what else do we have? A pepper. Here's a tomato. Look at the difference in the leaves. This is a pepper. Okay, and this one's gonna make a little tag here. These are gonna make big yellow golden bell peppers, and those will be delicious to eat in a little while. And then this one, look at the different leaves. This one is a watermelon plant. So these will make watermelons when they get big. They'll grow big, giant watermelons from these little tiny plants. But the plants are gonna grow big first. Give me the marigolds. Now, the thing that we have to be careful with in our garden is bugs, because everybody loves veggies and especially bugs. So we can have bugs that eat our plants. Now, there are good bugs and bad bugs, so we don't want to kill all the bugs. Okay, ladybugs are great bugs to have in your garden because they actually kill the bad bugs in your garden. They eat them, which is good. We like ladybugs. Now, these are marigolds. Okay, and marigolds in your garden actually are a natural insect repellent, and they will attract the good bugs that we want in our garden, and they will shoo away the bad bugs that we don't want in our garden. And tomato hornworms are these big green worms with horns, and I'll show y'all those. I'm sure we'll have some later in the summer. And these deter those, and they will eat your tomato plant overnight. And so then you don't get any tomatoes because they'll eat all the leaves and then make a chrysalis and become a moth. Now, so we planted again, and when you plant, let me show you what we do. We don't want to plant flat in the ground. Again, like I said, you can have a raised bed or a pot or even a bag of soil that's kind of picked up, because if something is flat and the water sits on it, it's going to rot. So there'll be too much moisture and it'll rot. If we pick it up, we can keep it wet, but it'll have good drainage. So I'm going to show you Landry's little raised bed. So if you look right here, this is the ground. Right here. Whoop, let's see if I can do this. There we go. This is the ground. So this is raised up about 8 inches. Okay, up here. So when we wet it, all the water can drain out. Now, if you look right here, these are hills. So we plant them again on hills because we want raised, and we actually want, so a row and a furrow. So this is a row, this is a furrow, because we want a place for the water to go, but we also want a place where the plants can be up and out of the water. And we need a place to walk, because if we get in there, we need to be able to harvest. And if you'll see, we have 3 rows. So there's a row all the way to the back where we'll plant our climbing vines. Look right there. Okay, you see that right there? There's a grid going up the wall, and that's because there are climbing plants there. So what'd you plant down there, Lindsay? Watermelon? So the watermelon vine will grow up there, and then the watermelon will hang. We'll do that all the way down. We'll do watermelon and cucumber and then cantaloupe. And that's a nice place to climb. And so they won't take over the rest of the garden. In the front row, we have peppers, and then the place where you don't see plants, those are beans that haven't sprouted yet. So again, you can have plants that you can purchase, or you can have seeds that you can plant. And the thing between seeds and bedding plants is that seeds, you don't know which ones are going to sprout and which ones aren't. So a lot of times if I'm going to grow from seed, I'll plant the seeds in just a dish, like one of these little containers. And then as the plants sprout up, I'll pick the plants out and plant the individual plants so that it is exactly where I want it. So again, then next time, once the plants start growing, we'll go on in our book and we'll talk about the parts of the plant. Okay, but right now we're still at the seed stage. Well, we have some plants, but we're going to wait because you saw our bean. So right now our bean is at this stage. Okay, so actually probably in just a couple days we'll get a stem coming up and we'll get some root going down. I was going to show you an earthworm. There was a big earthworm right here a while ago, but I don't know where it went. Landry may have buried it when she planted. Oh, nope, here it is. I'm going to show y'all something fun. Come here, earthworm. He does not want to come back out. Come here. Oh, he's buried in there. Here we go. All right, something that's very, very good for the soil, he's mad at me, is an earthworm. See him start to move? He's looking to go back down. They like to bury, but they actually eat dead leaves, and they actually fertilize your garden very, very well. So they make this beautiful black dirt. They do really, really well with that. And so you can have a healthy, healthy garden bed if you have a lot of nice earthworms. Plus you can go fishing with them later. I'll let him go back. If he is mad at me. Okay, there you go. Put him back in the dirt. And the difference between soil and dirt, this is a fun fact, and then I'll let y'all go. Soil is this stuff right here. You can buy soil. Okay, so this is soil. Okay, what you plant in. So we've got a plant in soil. Now, dirt, the difference in soil and dirt is that dirt is what you get under your fingernails that your mom tells you to wash off. That's the difference. And I will see y'all next time.